Ever feel like the traffic lights are low-key out to get you? You're running late, your GPS is screaming, and every single intersection turns red the split second you pull up. It's like the world is coordinated just to make you wait. It's 2 a.m. The streets are a total ghost town. Not a single other car in sight. Yet, there you are, sitting like a statue at a red light that refuses to budge. You start looking around, wondering, does this thing have eyes? Is it watching me? Or is there some guy in a control room somewhere staring at a monitor and hitting a button just to mess with my head? But here's the thing, that brain inside the traffic pole isn't just a random timer. Depending on where you're stopped, that light is making decisions based on entirely different sets of logic. So here is the secret behind how those metal boxes actually think, and why they aren't always as annoying as they feel. Simple but surprising. Most people think traffic lights are just dumb clocks, basically giant colorful metronomes. The assumption is that they just cycle through 30 seconds of red and 60 seconds of green, over and over, completely indifferent to whether the road is packed or a total ghost town. To be fair, for a long time, that's exactly what they were. The story starts back in 1914 in Cleveland, Ohio, home to the world's first electric traffic signal. Back then, it was a manual job. A person actually had to stand there and flip the switches. Eventually, cities moved toward automation using fixed timers. For decades, this was the gold standard. The main road got 90 seconds, the side street got 30, and the cycle repeated regardless of the time of day. But modern intersections have gotten a lot smarter. They aren't just timing the road anymore, they're actually listening to it. Tucked under the asphalt or hidden inside those cameras mounted up high are sensors that feed live data to a central brain. The most common type is something called an induction loop. If you've ever noticed those faint square or diamond-shaped outlines in the pavement right at the stop line, you've seen one. Think of it like a giant metal detector. There is a coil of wire buried in the ground that creates a magnetic field. When a massive hunk of metal, like a car, rolls over it, it disrupts that field. The system instantly realizes, hey, someone's waiting, and begins the logic to trigger a green light. This is exactly why your positioning at 2 a.m. matters so much. If a driver stops too far back or creeps too far forward, they might miss the sensor entirely. And yeah, that's why you feel like the light is broken. This is also a major headache for cyclists. Sometimes a high-end, lightweight bike doesn't have enough metal to trip the sensor, leaving the rider stranded. Beyond just detecting a single car, it calculates how long the line of cars is, how long they've been waiting, and compares it to the traffic flow coming from other directions. Everything is governed by two strict rules: minimum green and maximum green. Minimum green, usually 7 to 15 seconds, is a safety buffer. It ensures that if a pedestrian steps off the curb just as the light changes, they have enough time to at least reach the middle of the street safely. Maximum green, which can last up to 2 minutes on major boulevards, acts as a fairness filter. Even if there's a never-ending stream of cars in one direction, the computer will eventually force a red light to make sure the people on the side streets aren't ignored forever. It sounds cold, but it's the only way this doesn't turn into chaos. Timing a city's traffic is a high-stakes puzzle where every win for one driver is a loss for another. For every extra second a major boulevard stays green, a person on a side street or a pedestrian at the curb is literally paying for that movement with their own time. This is what engineers call the cycle length problem, and there is no perfect answer. Here's another way to see it. If the cycle is too short, meaning the lights flip back and forth constantly, a massive amount of dead time is wasted. That's the safety buffer, where every light in the intersection stays red for a few seconds to make sure the coast is clear. If the light changes too often, the cars barely have time to get moving before it's red again. But if the cycle is too long, side streets turn into parking lots, creating a domino effect that can paralyze an entire neighborhood. Most cities settle on a sweet spot between 60 and 120 seconds, just enough to keep traffic flowing without driving everyone crazy. Now, zoom out for a second. These lights aren't just working alone, they're part of a synchronized team. Have you ever had one of those lucky days where you hit 5 or 6 green lights in a row without ever touching your brakes? That wasn't a fluke, it was a green wave. Engineers calculate the exact distance between intersections and the speed limit, let's say 35 miles per hour, to create a perfectly timed delay. If a driver stays right at that speed limit, they'll catch the peak of every single wave. But the moment someone decides to floor it or starts lagging behind, they'll run straight into a red light at the very next block. Essentially, the system is silently training people how to drive correctly without ever putting up a single sign. It's a subtle bit of psychological engineering that keeps the city's pulse steady. And if that already sounds smart, the next generation of lights goes even further, because some intersections are no longer just following a plan, they're making one in real time. But the newest traffic lights are moving beyond simple sensors. They aren't just asking, is there a car sitting on this loop? They're starting to ask a much bigger question. What's happening across the whole road network right now? This is where adaptive traffic control comes in. Instead of forcing every intersection to follow the same fixed schedule all day, these systems watch traffic in real time and adjust as conditions change. If one road suddenly fills up after a game, a concert, a crash, or a school dismissal, the system can give that direction a little more time. If another street is empty, it doesn't have to waste a full green light just because an old-timer says so. One well-known project in Pittsburgh showed how powerful this idea can be. When intersections stop acting like isolated clocks and start working together like a network, cities can reduce waiting, cut unnecessary idling, and make traffic feel less like everyone is fighting the lights one block at a time. But the real future goes even further. Traffic lights are not just listening anymore. They're starting to talk. With connected vehicle technology, an intersection can send information directly to a car. Imagine your dashboard telling you, hold a steady 32 miles per hour and you'll catch the next green. No guessing, no racing, no slamming the brakes because the light changed at the worst possible second. Instead of every driver trying to beat the system quietly helps everyone move through it more smoothly. And this becomes even more important when the vehicle is not just another commuter trying to get home. Think about an ambulance or fire truck rushing toward an intersection. With smarter signals, the vehicle can send a request ahead of time. The lights can hold cross traffic, clear a path, and create a moving green corridor before it even arrives. That's the real promise here. A smarter traffic light isn't just trying to save you a few seconds at a red. It's trying to make the whole intersection less wasteful, less frustrating, and less dangerous. In the future, your car may not just see a red light. It may understand what that light is about to do. And the intersection may understand you are coming before you ever touch the brake. So, next time a red light stops a car in its tracks, remember, it's not a personal attack from the universe. That light isn't just sitting there waiting for a timer to run out. It balances a dozen different needs at once. It has to keep pedestrians safe, stay in sync with the next 3 intersections down the road, and sometimes even negotiate with the software inside the vehicle itself. Every red light is essentially the result of a massive, real-time math problem running right underneath those tires. But that leads to a fair question. If the system is so smart, why are some lights still so incredibly dumb? The reality is that while AI-driven systems are booming, thanks in part to massive government infrastructure pushes, upgrading isn't cheap. Swapping out an old-school timer for a high-tech AI brain can cost anywhere from tens of thousands to over $100,000 per intersection. That's why driving from a modern downtown into the suburbs can feel like time traveling back to the 1990s. Sometimes, a city's budget simply hasn't caught up to the technology yet. And then, there's the biggest wild card of all, the human element. Since hybrid work became the new norm, rush hour doesn't look like it used to. Data from 2025 shows that traffic jams aren't just a 9 to 5 problem anymore. Gridlock can hit at noon or 2 a.m. just because people decided to head out at once. Even the smartest AI is still trying to learn these unpredictable new habits. Sometimes the system feels out of sync because the real world is changing faster than the code can keep up. Before wrapping up, there's an ongoing debate worth mentioning. A lot of people are pushing to ditch traffic lights entirely in favor of roundabouts to keep things moving. What's the take on that? Would that make life easier or just more confusing? Drop a comment and let's get the conversation started. See you in the next one.